Hello, both sides of the conversation family. We welcome you to this virtual space crafted especially for you. My name is Jada Curry, and I'm both sides of the conversation's marketing director and graphics design specialist. I want to take some time to ground us all as a community into this space we are about to open up in, so let's go through our community standards. Both sides of the conversation is providing a safe and honest space for open conversation, so we ask that you all be respectful of that. We also ask that you be respectful of each panelist, host, and participant. We do encourage healthy debates and conversations. Don't personalize anything with anyone. This includes name-calling, bullying, trolling, or shaming. This will not be allowed or tolerated. Your perspective is yours. It is not a prescription. You do not have to agree, but show respect. These community standards apply to all of our live shows and any virtual spaces that we hold on social media, including YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. We want to make sure that we are caring for each other as a community. This is our priority in all of our endeavors as both sides of the conversation. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's show and continue to stay in touch with us via YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or all of them. All right, thank you for listening and see you soon.
Welcome everybody to both sides of the conversation. I'm John Henry, Executive Director. Today is Tuesday, so y'all know what that means. We're going to have another Hidden Gem segment where we will continue to highlight our Black and brown businesses, as well as those community leaders that are doing positive things to impact our community. Tonight, we have some heavy hitters on here tonight. We got some Dream Keeper Initiative folks. We got some folks that's doing some stuff to impact our community. Just happy to see the Hidden Gems tonight. So just excited about what's going to happen tonight. But before we get started, I want to get through a couple of community announcements and bring up Brother Nate, and then we'll get started with tonight. First of all, I just want to apologize. I know a lot of people was reaching out. The Wi-Fi this weekend for our show was a little staticky. We was out in community, but again, we're trying to do our best to do a lot. We got a little bit of budget. We try to build capacity to improve these things. So for all you that's complaining, please support us. Make a donation so we can build capacity and get some of the tools and technology that we need to make the experience a little bit more pleasant when we out in the community. But with that being said, I want to give a huge shout out to our Both Sides of the Conversation team. We had 3 live events on Sunday going on at one time. So I know a lot of people was reaching out every hour. They would say, hey, y'all stream it live again. It was stuff happening. We were out in the community with the people. So I just want to say, give a great shout out to our Both Sides of the Conversation team for coming together, making that happen. And for the 3 events, we want to give a huge shout out to Erica Scott and the African American Arts and Culture District for putting on another Humbre block party that was phenomenal. Epic day. You know, we have folks out there playing dominoes, businesses making money, our pop-ups, community come together, and everything was in love and peace. So just happy to be a part of that event. And then I want to give a huge shout out to Dr. Scott for her 75th birthday. She had an amazing function for her birthday. The community showed up. I seen about 250, 300 people. She had everything going on at this event. So just proud of the work that she's done. She's a pillar of our community, and the community did show up. And it was just nice to see all of the folks come out and support. That's what we're supposed to do for our folks in the community. So just great events. And then we had our breast cancer awareness conversation. Very important and impactful conversation for all you that are listening. For the ladies in the community, we know we have a large follower of women. If you didn't get to listen to that conversation, please go back to our YouTube and look at our previous Sunday conversation about breast cancer awareness. For our young ladies in the community, one of the most important things that I pulled out of that conversation was go get checked young and early. The lady was recommended 25 years old. As we know, some of the communities environmentally impact us in so many different ways. So we want to make sure that breast cancer is not a forgot about thing. We don't want to just make it once a time a month. We want to continue this movement. And we want to continue to advocate and work to get some of those resources and some of those mobile testing things to come to these pop-up events in our community. We want our young people and the women of our community to get tested, as so many lives have been taken from breast cancer. And we don't want to get lost in the COVID and forget that there's other health things that also impact our community. So just want to give a huge shout out to those ladies, Miss Brittany at with Wise Health, and Latoya coming on, holding it down, and the phenomenal panelists we had. Great conversation. I was just impressed to see all of the work that was taking place and all of the things that we were able to do in the community. Then I want to give a huge shout out to East Oakland Collective, my brother Corey Monroe, brother Spangolo over at Collective Impact, and DJ at YCD. We always talking about how community organizations could work together and impact community. We reached out. Corey reached out to me today and had a family that just had a little one impacted, unhoused right now, needed some support. And those phenomenal organizations, the Feline Dance Group, all stepped up to help this family with diapers and clothes and sheets and different things. We're trying to help get these folks some support. And I just want to say thank you to those organizations coming together. And this is the model that we need to have in our community. The more we work collaboratively with each other, the greater impact we can have in our community. And we have to stop all of these silos and divisive practices that we do sometimes in our community. It was just nice to see different organizations come together to have impact in our community today. So I just want to say shout out to those folks for doing that. Over the weekend, there was a number of events taking place. We had the Blue Angels flying over the city. We had the Giants playing baseball. We had our 49ers. I want to give a huge shout out to Booker T. Washington for putting on a phenomenal Fillmore wellness event on Friday. Nate was out there, a bunch of the community organizations. We was able to connect with some phenomenal folks. And it was just nice to see people out there in the community. A lot of things happening in our community. We just blessed to be a part of it. Nice to see Nate and the folks out there just working together, using our think tank time to figure out how can we impact our community. As we know, our community are faced with so many crises right now and so many areas of help that's needed. So it's nice just to see the different organizations working together, trying to come up with a strategy to impact our community. And then shout out to the East Oakland Regional Parks. We was out there on Saturday cleaning the shorelines, doing our part here at both sides of the conversation to make sure our communities are clean. And we will continue to do that moving forward to make sure that we are part of the change. We don't want to just talk about the problem. We want to be out there part of the change to make it happen. This Sunday, our team will be out at the Phoenix Day Block Party. You'll see our both sides of the conversation team out there, and we'll continue to be in the community doing things to help impact our community. With that being said, we're going to jump into a couple more announcements, and then we'll get started with tonight's show. Great information for community. Today, it was noted that California will be the first state to allow adult children to add their parents to their healthcare plans. I think this is something phenomenal that California is doing. As we know, sometimes as our families get up in age, the ability to work and to get those type of benefits are always not there. So way to go. It won't take an effect until 2023, but Governor Newsom did sign it in there. So if you have some young children that are doing phenomenal things and making great income and have benefits that the parents of the community could be blessed from, I think this is a great start to show solidarity and make sure that our families are protected, especially when we talk about health insurance and things of that nature. So we just excited to hear that information. I definitely, as I get older, want my daughter to be able to put me on her benefits when she make all that money as a nurse. So I'm definitely happy that that's happening. Also going on in the news, I'm sure everybody heard it. It was happening all over the news. Southwest canceled so many flights over the weekend. People were stuck all over this country. I believe it was about 1,000 folks stuck. According to the flight tracker, 28% of the airline scheduled flights was just booked. People were stuck. I think they're starting to get that back moving. They don't know what the cause is yet. They're saying it was something with the towers or whatever, but people were frustrated and stuck. And I hope those people that were stuck were able to get back to home, as our airlines are struggling during this pandemic to make sure our folks is getting where they need to go. I know Spirit had a big problem, and I guess it's rolling on to the different airlines now. So just happy to see that they're getting things back up and going and people are getting back to their destinations. One of the other announcements, back to school gun violence. We've seen a record high of active shooters this year during this pandemic between August and September. It was been reported there's about 30 instances of gunfire that occurred on U.S. school grounds. We had about 5 folks that was killed, about 23 other folks wounded. And it's marking the highest number of on-campus shootings since 2013 in the U.S. So I don't know what's going on. Again, I'm going to continue to say mental health, mental health, mental health. This pandemic has put a lot of stress, anxiety, and depression on our young people, as well as the elders in our community. And we have to get them support. And we have to talk to our young people to figure out how to deal with their emotions and their anger and things of that nature. Very, very important stuff that we got to deal with and address. And we're going to try to have a couple of those conversations here at both sides of the conversation. And then President Biden marks Indigenous People Day as a historic day. I guess for years and years, it was always Christopher Columbus Day. So I guess they're going to make it Indigenous People Day to be observed on October 11th alongside, they say, with Columbus Day. So just interesting, but another day that the people of this land and this country is being recognized. With that being said, we're going to jump into our community announcements. The East Oakland Collective is going to be catering meals Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 p.m., Tuesday and Thursdays at 11 a.m. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, there will be groceries and catered meals. So it's a little bit of different programming for the different days. If you would like to find out more information, if you're in the Oakland area and you need support, you need groceries, or you need food, please go to the East Oakland Collective website, or you could go to our website, Both Sides of the Conversation, and they are one of our community partners. And you could click on their link and get access to them for information. If you have families or seniors in that community that need support, they are there supporting our communities, not only in Oakland, but across the Bay Area. As I said earlier, they just impacted families here in San Francisco today. So thank you, East Oakland Collective, for the work you're doing to impact our community. Very, very important stuff. And then this Saturday and Sunday, we're going to be at the New Roots Theater Festival. Our own Rodney Jackson is going to be out there performing for the Roots Theater. It'll be Saturday and Sunday from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Brava Theater Center, 2781 24th Street in San Francisco. If you haven't got your tickets, please grab some tickets. Go out there and support these Dream Keepers. They are doing some phenomenal, phenomenal stuff. And if you haven't met Rodney, man, go out there and check that brother out. He got a voice. He's a talented, talented young dude, and they're going to be doing some amazing stuff. So we'll be out there with our team, and we'll be checking out some of the theater functions this weekend. The San Francisco African American Early Childhood Educators will host the youth activities for the youth this Sunday, October 17th at 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. You'll hear a little bit more about that. Located at Lee Avenue in Ocean. For more information, it's a number up there you can call, 298-8367, and you'll hear a little bit more about that. We got some phenomenal events going on around the city this weekend. And then also Classy Pieces is presenting the Jingle All the Way December 18th. They're having a phenomenal event, some music, some pop-up events. It will be happening at the Bayview Opera House from 12 to 5 p.m. So make sure you mark your calendars. We just given an early announcement, but we'll, as we start getting closer to those dates, we'll let community know how to get involved, how to be a part of it. That'll be coming up. And then, like I said earlier, this Sunday is the Phoenix Day for the San Francisco Street Festival. It'll be from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. And it'll be will be at Sam Jordan's Way on 3rd Street. It's different block parties happening out throughout the city, but we'll be in the Bayview. We'll be at Sam Jordan Way, hanging out down there. And then, in honor of Black History Month for the Black Panthers, they'll be coming on here this Sunday. They'll be our Sunday conversation, folks. We're going to be celebrating their 55th anniversary. So the Black Panther Party is going to be a powerful thing, and they're going to be having a presentation about Dope is Death as well. That's happening on Saturday the 23rd from 5 p.m. Dwayne Wiggins of Compound. It's going to be at the Compound, I guess. 926 85th Avenue in East Oakland. It should be a powerful, powerful event. We'll try to get out there. It's a lot going on that weekend, but we're going to try to get there. With that being said, for our Both Sides of the Conversation events that's coming up this Thursday, we're going to have an Educational Thursday presentation by Officer Dudley. It's going to be about the African-American minority underserved community and equity building activities. He's going to come on and talk about that. So we're looking forward to this Thursday to seeing that presentation. And then this Sunday, like I said, we'll be celebrating the 55th anniversary of the Black Panther Party. Phenomenal, phenomenal folks who will be coming on, our legacy keepers. So looking forward to that. And then 1024, we are still trying to get panelists for our domestic violence conversation on 1024. As you all know, this is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. We will have that conversation on the 24th of October. So if you know anyone who's a survivor or someone who runs those type of organizations and programming to help some people of domestic violence, we would like to have those folks to come on so we can talk about how the community can support and help. And then the last Sunday of the month, Trick or Treat, we'll be talking about microaggressions in the workplace. You all know that there's been a number of conversations about some of the behavior and things that's happening in our community, in the work community. And those are some of the conversations that we need to have to talk to our community, how to protect ourselves and how to deal with these microaggressions in the workplace. And then also this Saturday, there will be a community cleanup on 3rd Street with the San Francisco African American Culture District. They'll be out there in the community cleaning. So looking forward to that. And both sides of the conversation is going to try to get out there to help support that event as well. With that being said, I'm going to close my mouth now and land my plane. I've been talking, getting the community announcements out. Now we're going to go ahead and jump into tonight's segment. But first, we're going to bring up, our co-host, our guy, Nate Ford, who's always here every Tuesday, unless he's out balling with the young people, coming to co-host and support with us here at both sides of the conversation. They had a phenomenal event this weekend for their NBA junior draft. So, Nate, come on, holler at the people, let them know how the draft went and how people could get in contact.
Yeah, it was man, great weekend. Great. It was so good to see so many kids smiling and back into active activities. So this is our 31st annual junior NBA basketball league, and we had our annual draft. We were able to place 277 kids on teams this weekend. We are only one of 18 leagues in the entire United States that is actually sponsored by the NBA. So this is something great and something near and dear to my heart. The league is ran by all volunteers, volunteer coaches from scorekeepers. This year we have a program for young coaches who aspires to be coaches, teenagers. We pair them up with the adult coach, and they stick with them through the whole season. They go through some classroom stuff, but this is their on court portion now. So just a great thing to have a community back. I was just so happy to see so many smiling faces. We had the basketball players from the University of San Francisco come out and sign some autographs, give out T-shirts, give out tickets. They even promised us a junior NBA night at the USF basketball game. So great time, great vibes. I'm happy to be back. I'm in my element, and I'm just excited. Thanks, John.
Man, phenomenal stuff. Young people, you talking about building up confidence? That's the way to do it, man. Thanks, Nate, for all the work you do with the Rebels and just making sure that our young people have activities, especially during this pandemic. Phenomenal stuff. Glad to have you a part of that. Young people in the community. That's what we talk about. Impact. That's impact right there. Those type of situations change the kid's life. So with that being said, we're going to jump into tonight's hidden gems. They've been waiting patiently. They like, let's go. Let's get it on. We got two phenomenal hidden gems that we're going to bring up together. They are doing some phenomenal things to impact our community. When we talk about legends of the community, people that pillars of the community, you about to see some of the pillars of our community that bless the people. So with that being said, we're going to bring up Miss Delia Fitzpatrick, and we're going to bring up Brother Derek Tolliver, and they're going to talk to the community about some of the things that they have going on that's going to impact not only our young people, but the community. Hello, everybody. How y'all doing tonight?
Good. Go ahead, Derek.
You got to unmute yourself, D. There you go.
Okay. I'm unmuted now, right?
You unmuted. You good
okay,
now.
Good.
Man, this legend in the game, I can't believe this. No way. This legend in the game cannot unmute himself. No way.
Well, John didn't tell you he had me muted.
I'm starstruck. I can't wait till you talk.
I couldn't override the host. But no, thank you so much. I'm going to defer to my leader, Delia Fitzpatrick. I think it behooves us to hear how she came up with this concept, and I'm gonna let her run with this.
So it wasn't just me. It was a collective of the African American early childhood educators that breathed this idea of having resources come to the community. Lakeview, OMI area, is the kind of like the stepchild of the city, meaning that all resources, they usually stop when they get to the Excelsior, like Persia and Mission, and then they just kind of dry up when you get to Geneva and Mission, and then forget about those that live on the other side of the overpass. But just bringing the resources to us. We fought for many years trying to make sure that we give voice to the needs of the community. And this is the Dreamkeeper initiative kind of like escalated all of our needs, even in the midst of COVID. It started having those conversations and bringing the ideas to the forefront. But it wasn't just me. By no means. There are 4, 5 beautiful individuals that have been working in childcare for an average of 30 years, bringing up our babies, and they weren't getting resources. They weren't getting supplies when it came to the different departments giving out supplies. They would get the third of a third. And so that's where this all stemmed from. When they started coming to the meeting that I chair, the OMI Community Collaborative, they brought up their needs. They brought up their inadequacies, and we gave voice to the supervisor, and then that beget the forming of the African American Early Childhood Educator Group. When the Dreamkeeper grants came about, it was a dream of theirs to see that science and education be at the forefront and make sure that it is in the community. Now, although we're going into this Sunday Fest with it being at Ocean used to be District 11. And even my location at the Christian Center used to be considered Lakeview. Then it just kind of reverted and I fell out. So I'm in Outer Mission. So just making sure that the neighborhood had the resources, and we have together as a collaborative, as a collective, have given voice to that. And even with COVID, we weren't even being allowed to have flu shots. Everybody was going to Bayview to get flu shots. So this is huge right now. And there's a lot of resources that we've been able to garner through the Dreamkeepers initiative. And I'm just taking everybody on a ride, and we gonna ride this train until the wheels fall off. Derek, to you.
Yeah, I just want to thank Delia for her vision and again, all the members of the collective and the cooperative, African American childhood educators, early childhood educators. It's really incumbent on us to understand what science, technology, engineering, and math means to our community. Mm-hmm. And I've been a proponent of this for probably the last 40 years because I was in that industry. I used to do everything from scientific equipment to medical equipment sales. And then I did information technology systems and solutions. So that's software. That's the stuff that drives Amazon, Salesforce, all that kind of stuff. So I trained surgeons in the operating room. I helped biotechnology engineers have all the resources they needed to conduct the research that gave us human growth hormone and all these other biopharmaceuticals. So as I'm watching other people get resources and build empires, I'm saying to myself, what are we doing in our community? Who's bringing the information back to us? so that we can prepare the next generation of scientists, engineers, technicians, etc. So that's where Delia tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Hey, Derek, this is what we want to do. Can you help us?" And when she asked me, I said, "Absolutely." And so she was able to successfully work on everything behind the scenes that helped make this possible for us to do what we're getting ready to do this coming Sunday as a kickoff, the festival, the STEM Frenzy Festival. And I love that word, STEM Frenzy. My organization is called STEM to Hearts, and all we are is a little assisted engine for STEM Frenzy. STEM Frenzy is what we are all about.
I wanted rage, but it didn't seem right. It didn't seem right.
But we got it close with Frenzy. So I mean, really, that's what we're going to be doing, kicking things up. There are a number of things for everyone to understand as we go forward that I think is going to really make a difference. One thing is we have a lot of interest in people helping us. So resources are beginning to come out of the woodwork, and they're growing by the day. So there are a lot of things that we may not have in place on Sunday, right? But you better believe we're going to do what we need to do Sunday to make that an exciting experience. But we even have more planned because we have a Saturday school format coming up. So Sunday is going to be from 10 to 2, October 17th, as was stated earlier, on the corner of Ocean and Lee, between Lee and Holloway. Is it between, between Ocean and Holloway on Lee Street? And then what we're going to be doing is we're going to be getting real busy with a lot of these Saturday school programs that will be starting off in November. And they'll be almost every other Saturday for the most part. But what we're going to be able to do is have 2-hour sessions for up to 25 students. So you have to sign up, go to the website, register, make sure you register for this Sunday's event, but www.stemfrenzy.org, and make sure you look for the festival that's going on and then also those workshops. Because I've had people call me from all over the Bay Area. Now we're focused on really providing those services to students from San Francisco public schools and other schools in San Francisco. But we're not going to turn people away if we have room and they have been maybe former residents of San Francisco that have been displaced and now they want to bring their kids back to take advantage of this. We want to encourage that. But again, our top priority is, our residents here in San Francisco, boys and girls between the ages of 5 to what Delia, about 17? 17 for the, now that's for the workshop, but for this Sunday's event, everybody. We go from 5 to 90, 90 plus. Okay. It's for the whole family. So, get out there and get busy. But let me tell you some things that are going to happen real quick. Some of the things that we're going to be studying are the brain, water systems, electrical systems, power systems, human anatomy. Okay. We're also going to be studying the birth of communications, period, from the telegraph all the way to streaming. Okay. And everything in between, motion pictures, audio. Okay. They're going to learn these things, photography, how to do coding. All right. How to do cybersecurity. What does that mean? Global warming. They're going to understand the weather. We're going to have meteorologists come in, and we're also going to be doing trips to Nassau. Okay. Trips to the U.S. Geological Survey, to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. I had a conversation this past weekend during Fleet Week, and I was relaying this to Delia. Basically, what happened is the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, I didn't even know this. They have a complete model of the entire San Francisco Bay. That was pre-computer. So they built this thing by hand. It's huge. It's over in Sausalito. What they've offered to do is if we bring our kids there They're going to show them the model, and then they're going to take us to Sonoma, where they built a dam, okay, hydroelectric facility, and fish hatcheries to protect the environment. So they're going to give our kids this stuff that they would never get, okay, in a normal day-to-day basis. The same thing with NASA. They're going to, flight simulators, things of that nature to show how things work. So we've got a commitment from the U.S. Army, and also I made contact with the U.S. Navy. So we've got generals and admirals now on board to support us, and that's never happened before. So we're going to, STEM Frenzy is going to effectively become a community partner with the United States military, because we are paying taxes and everything else and not taking advantage of these scholarships. We have $157,000 scholarship, $153,000 scholarship that went out to a young man from Mission High School to go to Jackson State. That's a lot of money. Okay, so that's part of what we're going to be doing, is helping our kids connect to that money, those resources. Okay, so I think I've said enough. I want to let you all ask some questions, and again, tell you we're really excited. This is going to be phenomenal. We're going to have a lot of resources and a lot of mentors in those classrooms and on those field trips, helping our students. Oh, one other thing I wanted to say real quick, Delia, before I forget. I met someone, and I don't know how many people were familiar with this at the San Francisco Fleet Week, but we lost over 200 Navy corpsmen that were packing at Port Chicago over near Pittsburgh, California, back in the 40s. And when an explosion happened, loading ammunition onto into storage facilities off the ships, and during World War II, there's a group that wants to take us onto a aircraft carrier in Alameda called the USS Hornet, and it's a Black group, and they want to give us a Black perspective of what it's like for our history in the U.S. military, where we learned how to become engineers and scientists and got our educations paid for, but at the same time understanding the true history, why the Navy had to do so much to overcome all the racism. All right, so these kids can understand how they are going to be equipped to be above and beyond what's called for in terms of performance. So,
wow, I'm excited. Powerful stuff, Derek. I mean, a lot of stuff to unpack here, but I got to start back at the beginning where Delia started, because I definitely want to say, I see the OMI family coming in the comments. I see Miss Evelyn Thomas out there. I see a couple of Lakeview folks. And I think this is very, very impactful. Because, as we're trying to bring our communities together, we are still trying to make sure that those pockets are getting the resources, information. So I just want to give you guys one big salute to the OMI family, Maurice Rivers, Renard. There's a number of folks over there that's really building up and organizing the OMI. And, I really appreciate the stuff that you all are doing, and that leadership and that model, and also working with the other communities, but trying to get the OMI Lakeview area back together. So very, very powerful stuff that you all are doing. And that's why we're honored to have you here. Maurice Rivers, that's my guy. I'm like, brother, whatever you need, we got you here at Both Sides of the Conversation. And he has a Halloween block party coming up in a couple of days as well, on the 23rd. So we'll be getting that information out again. We've been getting it out all week, but we'll continue to get that out. But I think it's great. While we're in this transition point here in San Francisco, when we're talking about Black San Francisco, and the impacts that the different communities have been impacted with gentrification and some of the things that have taken place with redevelopment, pushing our folks out. So, it's just good to see, what's going on at IT Bookman with Sister Felicia and things of that nature, keeping our folks here and trying to keep that historic part and making sure that we still a part of the change and part of what's happening. I mean, I think that's just very powerful. And Delia didn't get into all the stuff that she do. She's an advocate for the people. And that's why, I'm always, honored to be in space with you, because I'm all about our people. And I like people that like to advocate and be there in space for our people. And not only does she advocate for the OMI, but she's always advocating for Black folks in general. And that's what we need. And that's this leadership and this movement of the Dream Keepers and, these different organizations trying to work together to lead our young people forward. And I think that's very, very important stuff, what you all are doing. Go ahead, Ms. Delia.
I just want to make sure that we specially note that the field trips that we'll be having, those are family field trips. So it's not just the kids. We're not just taking your kids and you get a free day. You can come along and be a part of the field trip, be on a charter bus, get to the destination, and you as well learn. We also will have, there'll be job tables. So there will be 2 organizations at the festival that will be providing like any type of jobs. If you need a job, come get a job. It's there for you. That's it.
Wow, very powerful stuff. And I like the model that Derek was talking about, bringing, the other community folks who from San Francisco or got pushed out back. Me and Nate talk about this a lot here on our Tuesday conversation about how do we change the model of these city entities, right? Mm-hmm. Because a lot of times in the Black community, the only services that our young people get, the young males especially, they have to be in trouble, right? They either have to be on probation, mm-hmm. they have to be, some disciplinary in the school, and then they get resources and help. So I think what you all are doing is very, very important and phenomenal, because I've been saying that, Nate's been saying it, like, what about the kids who are not getting in trouble, but they live in these districts where the possibility for them getting in trouble is there, right? Mm-hmm. But if there's no programming and there's no funding to help them, sometimes those kids turn around and get right back into trouble. And, I'm really advocating for this. And I told Nate, we have to systemically change a lot of these things system-wide, right? And like, do we care about the kids, or do we just care about the kids that's infected or, in trouble, right? Well, we're planning and being intentional, because like we're always talking about here at both sides of the conversation, being intentional on what we do, right? And I think our young people just need to be impacted. We can't pick and choose and take, hey, these kids, they live here, they highly, like, if this is a young male that sees STEM as a way to get free, like, let's do that. Let's make sure that they have the funding and the support to get into the program. And these type of programs are very important to impact our young people. And I've been on calls with Derek, and he's always talking about the STEM research. And even me being at UCSF, I see a very small number of kids in our communities, in these type of programs. So I think, what you all are bringing to the table is very important, because I think our young people, that exposure is so important, right, for access, right? Because if we expose our kids younger to these type of opportunities, like Derek said, to the military and, to the anatomy, and just getting into that medical mindset and letting our kids believe that, there is other opportunity. Because I think sometimes in our smaller communities, our kids are just focused on sports and entertainment and music. And I really like this model, because I want our kids to understand there is other things that you can do that can be just impactful and just as resourceful as some of the other things that we traditionally go to. And we're always talking about culturally appropriate people. And I think what you all are doing is really going to help impact this next generation of young people who are going to look like us, that'll be in the medical fields and be in the engineering and the technology. Because what Derek's talking about with communication and technology, it is only going to get advanced even more. And we got to start preparing our young people so that we can get the next generation of young folks involved to make impact in our community. So phenomenal stuff that you guys are doing to put this program together. I can't wait to see how it, plays out over the time, and just seeing the young people excited. And we're going to do our part to get out there and support you all as well. But great stuff, and just bringing it to that early age. I mean, I like the idea of 5 on, Derek. I mean, that's a brilliant model. Sometimes we don't really deal with our kids in the Black community until they, in middle school or elementary, 5th grade. But way to have a plan of attack to start stimulating that mind young. And like you talked about, Derek, those stimulators and different things of that nature, to get our young people to just see something different, I think is very, very impactful. So great stuff.
Yeah, my hat's off again. Thank you so much too, John and Nate, because you two are setting the bar pretty high. But when we have somebody, a visionary like Delia, to really organize and support early childhood education, that's where we got to start. We get them on the back end, post reentry, when they're coming back from spending 15 years in prison. I'm not saying it's too late, but we're starting too late. Okay, we're starting too late. We got to get them before they make those bad decisions and those bad choices. And I love what Delia's doing now, because if we can do that and nurture them along the pathway, we can guide them and direct them anywhere they want to go.
Man, definitely. What you're talking about is something that I advocate all the time here at both sides of the conversation. We need prevention.
Right.
Too much intervention and reaction. A lot of these models are intervention and reactive models. This is the prevention that we're talking about. Starting early, giving them that opportunity, that access. That Brother Grind Time is always talking about, just having the opportunity for access. I think it starts with you all. So phenomenal stuff that you all doing. Nate, you want to jump in there and ask anything to them, Nate?
Well, where do I begin? I do, and I said this last week, John. I think the OMI community has really set the bar for the city of San Francisco communities at large. I think that the way they've come together, and especially during these trying times, to not think of self, but think of community, how they can help as a collective, and not worried about who gets the accolades here, who gets the props here. I swear, I wish San Francisco, other communities in San Francisco would definitely just take a look and see how they've been operating. I'm sure it hasn't been all peachy and rosy, but they got the job done, and they're still getting the job done. For Derek, I've been watching Derek for years. I've run the Rebels, and that's part of my reason why I stick in educational pieces, community service, and things like that, because I'm looking through the program he's ran, the STEM the Hearts program. It's a model. I'm glad I'm going to be doing some things with Derek, but this is the way to go. We know kids love the sports and things like that, but everybody don't make it there. So we gotta, figure out the way to kind of even their minds a little bit and not make it one-sided. So a shout out to everyone from the STEM Frenzy organization, especially OMI. Derek, you my OG. I just love everything that you guys do, and I appreciate you.
Thank you, Nate.
Phenomenal
Thank you, John.
stuff. No problem. If there's anything else that you all want to get out, we'll keep running you guys information up until the day of the event. We'll continue to blast out the information on our social media handles. I was able to get some more out today. We've been announcing it for a couple of weeks now, but we'll continue to get that out and support you all. Here you go, community. Two of the pillars of our community, some real folks that are making impact, trying to make sure that our young people get the things that they need to be successful in life. It starts with these community leaders. We have to be the change. We can't just always complain about what we're going to do. So we appreciate Dahlia and the OMI family for coming together. Maurice Rivers, cleaning the community, putting food drives together, having a roller skate day, like just bringing programming to the OMI and making sure that those young people over there are not forgotten. Phenomenal stuff. Thank you all for what you're doing. We're looking forward to supporting you and helping you any way we can here at both sides of the conversation. Any flyers, any events you all have, you want to get out to the community, please get it to us, send it to our email, and we'll make sure that the community gets that information involved. Parents, if you're looking for an opportunity this weekend, come out. Bring your young folks. If you've been in the house too long, you're trying to get out for COVID, this is the type of event you want to introduce your kids to come and learn something that can be groundbreaking for not only them, but the community that they live in. Please come out to the Frenzy Zone, the STEM Frenzy Zone this week. We'll get the information back up on the screen. But thank you for all you're doing. These are hidden gems, but they're not so hidden no more. We know everybody knows who they are, but now they're not hidden. They've been on our hidden gem segment. So thank you all for coming on. We're looking forward to anything that we could do here at both sides to help uplift what you're doing. And we'll make sure that the parents and the families of the community connect with you all and get our young folks in the STEM and engineering and things of that nature, man. We thank you all for coming on tonight, D.
Thank you so much. And I just wanted to say one thing as we close. One little thing. And that is, again, thanks so much to Delia for the vision. Again, I want to thank her again and again and again. And I want to tell you this. We're going to have actual people that are from San Francisco that have become doctors, scientists, engineers, attorneys that played sports in San Francisco and went on to do these great things. So look for that. We're going to come back to both sides of the conversation, because those are the people we're going to have talking to our kids in these STEM sessions. And those are the ones we want to take out of the STEM session and bring them back to our community through both sides of the conversation. Mm-hmm. And again, I want to thank Delia for her vision and helping us to do this with STEM Frenzy and the STEM Frenzy Festival, October 17th from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock. Mm-hmm. Don't miss it. Ocean View, Ocean Avenue, between on Lee Street, between Ocean and Holloway, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The view.
That's it. That's it.
We taking over. We redrawing the lines.
Amen.
Right, there you go. I got the information up on the screen. Thank you again, Dahlia, for all the work you're doing and just, impact the community. Thank you, Derek. We got a lot of things that we always in meetings in, and, to the SF Block Leadership Academy and the stuff that you all are doing. We just appreciate you. And, this is what this segment's about. It's about highlighting our folks. Let them know that we appreciate you. Too many times in our community, we wait till folks are laying in that casket and we hear about all the phenomenal things that we hear, and everybody's going, oh, I didn't know this about this person. But what we're trying to do here at both sides of the conversation is make sure they get their roses, make sure they get their acknowledgement, put some respect on their name while they're here.
Yes.
Hey, man, I tell you what, if people said that they don't know about these two, they must be living under a rock. Gotta be.
Yeah, for real. But thank you all for all you doing. We really appreciate you. And again, if there's anything we could do to help and support, and Derek, I'll try to get my videographer out there for one of these events. But definitely, as y'all start getting through y'all cohorts, please bring the young people on and let them talk to the community and talk about their experience. And maybe sometimes we hear from our young folks, that'll give some of the other parents in the community opportunity to say, hey, maybe this time I'll try it because of the impact that the young people have. But we know you're going to have impact because of y'all vision, y'all leadership, and what y'all believe in. So we're just looking to see, what happened, what takes place, and the excitement of our young folks. So whenever you guys are wanting to come back on, anytime you guys can come on, you already know you're part of the Both Sides of the Conversation family.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay.
You want to say anything, Dahlia? Go ahead.
I'll come back and talk about the Innovation Lab.
Okay. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yes. Don't let her get away.
Yeah, go ahead. Give us a quick second. What is it? Come on.
He needs to tell you about that.
Yeah, open it up real quick.
No, November we'll be opening the Innovation Lab right next to the church at 5813 Mission Street. It's housing the startup childcare incubator program. So there'll be children council classes and workshops happening at that space. There will be GED tutoring and educational support happening. We shouldn't get better education in jail. We should be getting it in the community. So there'll be a GED teacher. There'll be mental health support. There'll be any kind of support for anybody that wants to go into childcare, or any of the legacy childcare providers. They will be able to come there, make copies, shred, get support, be able to talk to a mentor. That will be available, and it's starting off with childcare, but it could go into so much more. I want to do Salesforce training out of this space. I want to make sure that our children get the GED, get their diploma, their certificates, and they can be independent, successful individuals. And that's opening November.
Yeah, I put it up on the screen, but Delia, I definitely want to talk to you about more about the children council piece. During this COVID, a lot of families, single mothers been hit, struggling to get services. And, I really want to talk about how do we change the model of, the children council and child care providers, because we do have nurses and different people that work off hour shifts. How do we support them? A lot of times I get emails and people text me, all of the support is during the day, but John, I work nights, I work swing shift. How do we get the organizations to also support us? We need help too. So definitely I want to talk to you about that. And then, this homelessness that we're dealing with, not only here in San Francisco, but across the United States. We got young babies, 4 or 5 younger, living in the streets. You know, what can we do? You know, I want to put a plan together. How do we help these folks? We cannot have young kids sleep in the streets of San Francisco or across this country. So I'm willing to talk to anybody out there. We have to have a plan of how we're going to help these families. We have a number of families across San Francisco with young babies on the streets. We have to do better, community. We have to be the change. We have to come together and figure out how do we support. We cannot have small infant babies and young babies sleeping in our streets. It is getting cold now. We are transitioning to the weather, and these families need support. And I'm willing to work with anybody to come up with a plan and figure out how we can impact these families, especially as we transition into this winter season months. It's going to get cold out there, and I don't want to see our young kids sleeping on these streets. So I'll be reaching out to you, Delia. But yeah, definitely with the Children Council stuff. I know I have some folks from Children Council that should be coming on soon, but that's what I want to talk about. How do we get wraparound care for our single fathers, single mothers that are working, trying to keep their jobs, trying to keep their housing? How do we get them child care support after hours and things of that nature? So I'll be reaching out to you about that.
All right. Thank you.
All right. No problem. Well, thank you all for coming on tonight. With that being said, the OMI rocked the building tonight. They was in the building. We had another guest that was supposed to come on, not here, but we have one more hidden gem for tonight before we end tonight's show. We'll have a question if Derek and Dahlia can stick around. But we're going to bring up another phenomenal brother and let him come introduce himself to community, what he's doing, and some of his testimony. Very powerful, folks. But with that being said, Brother Demadre Truckee, what's going on, good brother?
Man, I'm doing real good, man. First and foremost, thank y'all for having me, man. This is huge, and I just want to say that Delia, I'm wondering if she got a mask on, because I think that's Marshawn Lynch up under there. She's straight beast mode for the city. She going hard in the paint for Frisco, man. Yes, indeed. Jesus Christ, she going hard.
Hey, that's the good people, man. The hard hitters was here tonight.
Yes, indeed, man. But man, again, my name is Truckee. I'm from Oakland. West Oakland, to be exact. I grew up in an area called the Lower Bottom. Lived in the projects, Campbell Village, single parent. Ran the street a little bit. Found out real young that it wasn't for me. I was out there trying to sell stuff with morals, you know. I couldn't do it to people that I knew and people with children. So I was like, nah, that's not for me. And man, I this barber seen me cutting hair on the porch and asked me to come and I started apprenticing in his shop. Before you know it, I ended up owning the shop. He passed. His wife gave me the shop, and I've been in business in my neighborhood. The only Black business still in my neighborhood, and I've been there for 25 years. My mother passed from breast cancer. That's why I was trying to come on for the Sunday show to talk about the impact of that on my life. And right up in there, man, is when my whole life changed. When my mother passed, I was trying to find some help, so I went to the church and found my calling, and now I'm, you know, I went from the street to the pulpit, you know. I'm now a minister in the church or whatever, and from there, man, I just started to learn and discover some things about myself in which I was called to do, and I learned that youth and young adults is my area. I've been dealing with little kids my whole time in the barbershop, right? So being around kids is something that I studied every single day, like the why they act the way they act, why they do what they do, why is this parent bringing them in, and why this person is bringing them, and why not this person. You know, I just study children all the time, and this pandemic has just been, for me, it's been an eye opener. I know it's been a few different things to everybody, but for myself, man, it's been a real eye opener, because when it hit, I was in the middle. I mean, I have a thriving business. I have clientele all across the world. I had 3 or 4 barbers working. I stay busy every day. And when COVID hit, I just hit the street. When it happened, I immediately hit the street. And what started everything was when they were talking about shutting down, man, I started to think about how the households were going to be once these people shut down these stores and you weren't able to really go in. And then you saw how people was cleaning out stores or whatever. So I asked a few of my customers and a few of my friends if they could donate a few dollars. And from there, man, I think we raised about $1,000 somewhere around in that area. And we went grocery shopping, right? And we made maybe about like 50 grocery bags. And it was like 2 days before the shelter in place first started back at the end of March, early April, whenever it started. We stood in front of my shop and we passed out the groceries to whoever came by or whoever pulled up was able to get the groceries. And one of my friends said, man, why don't you go on Facebook Live? You have all these friends and all these people following you. Why don't you go in there and ask all your friends for $1? And I said, man, well, I didn't really want to do it. So he cut my camera on and he was like, man, we on live. And I started to make the pitch. And by the time I got off the live, I had maybe $2,500. The next morning when I woke up, I was close to like $7,000 that I was able to accumulate. And from there, man, we went and bought more groceries. And then we started to feed the homeless every Monday outside of the shop. But we had supplies for houses for whoever needed something. We had all kinds of supplies from food, dry foods, and toiletries and hygiene stuff. We had all that stuff stacked up. But the blessing, man, was Candace Elder seeing what I was doing. Shout out to East Oakland Collective. Candace Elder saw what I was doing and was like, listen, I have some water for you. And it ended up being like 1,000 cases of water. So I linked up with her, got the water, and before you know it, y'all know how she work. If you know Candace, Candace is in these streets. She's up in these encampments. She know the people that she's engaging. She know her people in her city. But she was getting all these different meals, and I don't have the resources. I don't have anything other than my wallet and then the money that me and my friends accumulated, right? And which like that money went pretty fast, trying to buy groceries and keeping houses filled. But Candace started to give me like hundreds of meals a day. Like I was able to pull up and go and get meals like twice a day. And it was to the point to where I was on the street feeding people, going door to door, feeding people, just getting up out of my bed, going to meet the needs of folk when they were calling by myself. And before you know it, man, it caught on. Like I was doing that for about a week or two by myself, and then it just caught on. And before you know it, I started getting all these different volunteers, and we started to be able to cover more ground and cover more territory and be able to work throughout the city. And from that, man, I wanted to create something. I knew at that point in my life, at that point in the pandemic, there was a switch taking place. And I was on the fence with shutting my business down because I was so familiar with it. And it's my only stream of income. And it takes good care of me. So I really was on the fence on what I was going to do, but I knew while this pandemic was going on that I was going to help people the whole time, like however long it was going to take or however long we was going to be in this position, that I was going to be helping people. And so I started I started working on a group called Mama Jean's Pantry. My mother's name is Mama Jean. So I wanted to do it in my mother's name. My mother was known in the neighborhood for feeding people. Like if you couldn't get nothing from my mother, you can get a meal out of her, And so I started this movement because it's not an organization yet. And I'm working on that now. But I started this movement, Mama Jean's Pantry. And man, once I put that out there it just caught fire, and supplies, food, volunteers, anything I needed, I had. I can't even front. And the beautiful part about it, y'all, is that I didn't have the resources, none of it. I was unable to provide any of the stuff that I was able to get out, but it was the people. It was people, not me going to no big corporations or some businesses other than the food that we was getting from the restaurant. But whenever I needed something done, it was people cash apping, Venmo, dropping off material and wanting to be a part, not knowing how to be a part, not knowing what to do, but wanting to be a part of something. So, man, we kind of came together like Voltron, you know, like we started connecting the feet and the arms and the body, and we made an impact. We was hitting them street, we was hitting the streets, we was all up in these encampments, man, and I mean, we was moving from county to county if we had to, you know, like it was that serious to try to make sure people had what they needed. And from there, man, and I just want to kind of get through the story so I could talk about where I'm at right now. I was like 430 pounds when it all started, right? And I was riding a bike. I started riding my bike in the pandemic. So I went from 430 maybe to about like I was like 305, right? From 430 to 305. Now some of this pandemic weight then came back up on me, but I lost a lot of weight. So in the midst of all of that, I created this, I established this bike ride called Yes We Will. Yes We Will bring our people out to have fun socially, to be able to come together, enjoy each other, so that we can be relieved mentally and emotionally and psychologically, right? Because bikes, if you grew up in the 80s and the 90s, you rode your bike. You 80s for sure, you were on your bike, or you was on your big wheel, you was on a skateboard. And that's what we knew, you know? And I just watched that change in my life, to be able to get outside, catch some air and enjoy some time outside, right? So we organized a ride. I had Candace come along and help me. We organized this ride, and like 200 people come out to the ride, right? And from there, I established, from there, I was like, man, we got to keep this going. So we create this bike club called the Rollout Crew. So now we have various bike rides. Well, we average like a bike ride or two, but they're all themed. So our very first bike ride was October of last year, and it was the breast cancer awareness theme, right? And kind of in support of my mother and everyone else who had someone. And this year we're having a ride, actually not in our city. We're bringing it to San Francisco to come and ride. We leaving from Chase Center, and then we're gonna ride, round through downtown, down to the pier, and on back. It's like a costume and breast cancer awareness bike ride. But that was our first ride. But when people started to see what we were doing, then there was a young girl who was killed in the city of Berkeley. And then a group from Berkeley called and asked if we would be able to put together a ride for them for the following month. So then we had a Stop the Violence ride, right? Then we had a holiday ride. Then we had Martin Luther King ride. We had a Huey P. Newton ride. So whenever we ride, we always ride with a purpose. The reason we come out is to bring us together, but it's always going to have a purpose. We're going to learn something. We're going to learn one another, and we're going to learn how to get along with one another, right? And so the part, man, that was huge to me is to start seeing the following that was coming. Like, we were pulling people from Sacramento, Gilroy, Modesto, and these people are faithful till now, where the bike rides have probably grown to maybe 500 plus people a ride, you know? And in the midst of all of that, man, we're giving brand new bikes away to kids. We just had our second school supply giveaway where we did 600 backpacks, and we still have backpack supplies now, you know? For the holidays, we do coats and bikes through the pantry and the bike club. So my thing is, man, I'm really trying to get out here and help kids to be able to see in the midst of all of the mayhem and the chaos that's taking place in the street that they have options, right? That there is people you can look up to and see something different than what you have to, your reality every day. When we ride through neighborhoods, we're trying to give people an opportunity to be able to see something different every day instead of all of the stuff that we have to hear. We have 109 homicides in our city. And one way I know we can help is just sitting there and complaining. But I know one way we can help is if we just start doing something different. And I'm trying to do something in my city, a city that in which I caused some havoc. I wasn't no angel. I'm not just, I haven't always been this way. You know, I was problematic in my city, but I owe this to my city and I owe it to the kids. You know, I know there are some households that I have messed up because of the stuff I've done with their parents, the stuff I've given their parents. So I owe this to my city, not from a guilty place, but just from a place of love and wanting to see things change. And right now, man, I'm shutting my shop down. And I'm in the process of turning it into a maker's place to be able to teach kids creative wellness. I'm turning into an art studio, and I want kids to be able to come in and tap into something that God has given them by way of using their brain and allowing it to transfer from their mouth, their hands, or their feet. It may be dancing, it may be art, it may be cooking, it may be singing, it may be poetry. Who knows what it is? But I want to be able to give these kids the opportunity to be or experience something different and give them a chance to be able to tap into some things that we typically, you know, just don't cater to. One of the things I hear parents always say is that, you know, like, man, you can't draw all your life. And when you look at where the world is going, everything is going to a computer. It's all about drawing. You in order to be, you can be a graphic artist and engineer and all that stuff. You have to know something about working some kind of skill that's going to require you to think and be creative, right? Like, I want to be able to introduce kids to that. I want you to be able to tell me, no, I don't like that, but I do like this. Let me try this again. You know what I'm saying? I want to try that. No, I don't think I like that. And to be able to have them options instead of just pushing them into certain places. Because I know for myself, when I sit down and draw, I escape from everything. I'm gone from the world. I'm in my own world. I'm in my own place. And it helps me mentally and emotionally. And one of the things I see our kids dealing with, man, you see kids dying every day from suicide. Man, like, so another thing that I do in my city, I am like the hood spiritual representation. I do a lot of funerals, right? So I get to see a lot of stuff that goes on with families and deaths and why folk are, you know, with why folk are passing and the stuff in the street. I see it all. So my thing is, man, to help people not to learn how to just be alive, but actually learn how to live. And living is part of living is tapping into your God-given gift in which he equipped you to be creative. And I just want to be able to help children to discover that if I can before I leave here.
Wow. Phenomenal stuff. I don't know where to start at. All I can say is Oakland. What's up, Oakland? We in the building because, you know, they always try to put us in this box. And y'all just about Frisco. We got a collaboration going and some work that we're going to be doing with East Oak Collective. What a phenomenal organization. You know, phenomenal sister Candace putting in work, doing this stuff. And, you know, we're looking forward to some further things that we're going to put in place. Brother, we got to connect with you, too, because that's what we all about here at Both Sides of the Conversation, blessing the people.
Yes,
we ain't
sir.
trying to get the accolades. We don't need the followers. We need the people to be blessed with the resources and the services. And what you're doing is very, very phenomenal stuff. Very important in our community. So community, while y'all in the giving mode, I need somebody to give me a bike so I can go out there and ride with them because all my money is going into blessing the people. I need somebody to bless me with a bike so I can ride out there with the young people. Y'all got to make sure one of those bike rides is on a Saturday so that I can show up and not on one of my Sunday shows. But I want to come out there and support you all, especially when y'all come to San Francisco. So if you got a giving heart out there and y'all want to see me on a bike, I've been on my skates now. Maurice and them got me all juiced. I've been roller skating. I got my skates out there. I've been riding around doing interviews on skates. Now I need a bike. You know what I'm saying? I got to get a bike so I can go out here and ride with the young brothers of the community. So y'all want to help me get a bike? Somebody out there donate me a bike. I'm going to go ride with the people, okay? I'm find me one. I'm going to get out there. I'm going to Devo me a bike if I have to.
No, man, you doing a great. No, man, you know, someone told me about you, and you were referred as the Uncle Monty of San Francisco. Uncle Monty is a guy that go to all the funerals, do the things you do. But it's crazy, all this kind of small circle. I collaborate with a guy, an Oakland legend himself, Melvin Landry. And when I said your name, he went crazy. He just went crazy, man. Truckee, that's what, man. He So it's a small world, man. I've been dealing with Melvin for 30 years because he has the Oakland Rebels. Yep. I got the San Francisco Rebels. Yep. And, man, we do things together to try to bring these communities together with the youngsters. But, man, he had nothing but good things to say about you.
Coach Mel ride with us.
Yes, sir. Hey, he got his Oakland Rebels bike, right?
We created that bike.
Oh, you did? Man, I need to holler at you, man. I need a San Francisco Rebels bike.
Yeah, we have a guy in our club, man, who really put bikes together. Like,
man, I'm hitting you up. That's it. Because
he showed me somebody in the club. I need a both sides of the conversation bike. Somebody give me a both sides of the conversation.
He showed me that bike. He showed me that bike. Look, man, I got something for you. He showed me the old Oakland Rebels bike, man. Oh, man. Okay. I know who to come to now. Thank you.
Hey, yes.
Seriously, though, man, he had nothing but good things to say about you, man. So I don't know you personally, but I know Melvin words go a long way, and he definitely had nothing but great things to say about you.
Man, I'm glad to hear that because we love Coach. That's still Coach.
There you go.
He 30 plus years in the city. You know what I'm saying? He is a real living legend. He didn't touch thousands of lives.
Man,
thousands of lives has went through that Oakland Rebels program, man.
That's right.
And he come out and he ride and he support all the time. But John, we got a bike for you. That's never it.
Look, you see my community, Kathleen said somebody get John the bike. I take a used bike. Y'all can give me one of the ones that they stole and they can't find the owner. Give me that bike. I just want to come ride with the people, okay? We're going to turn it into a both sides of the conversation bike, man. I'm pumped up, because, again, this is what it's all about, right? We got to impact our young people. When you talk about the deaths, and you hit on something that's very, very real that we don't talk about in the Black community. Teen suicide is real. And, this pandemic and just living and the conditions that we live in has really impacted our young people. And we don't talk about teen suicide in the Black community, but there's a high rate of teen suicide that happens in the Black community. And that's one of the shows that we're going to be creating to talk about in the future. This is a real conversation that needs to happen. Because, again, we are losing a lot of young people. It's a lot of stress, especially when our young people break up in relationships. We're seeing high increased numbers and just depression, man. And I tell people, that mental health creative spot that you're talking about, I think is very important. And as parents of the community and as leaders of the community, we have to really pay attention to our young people. You pay attention to the drugs and you see where it's going. You see all these young people on syrup. You see them on Xanax. You see them on all these antidepressants getting high. And it's not the highest because they really are depressed. You know what I mean? And a lot of times we cover up and just think, oh, they're trying to do this. But a lot of these young people are, stressed in our community, dealing with anxiety, not being able to socialize, and then like you said, when we have these type of high increase of homicides across not only here in the Bay Area, but across the United States. These kids deal with a lot, right? And as community, we got to be there to support them and uplift them. And that's why I'm a big advocate here at both sides of the conversation about mental health. I still believe that mental health is more important than the COVID, especially in the Black and brown community. And the type of investment that we invest in COVID, I think we need to put that investment into mental health, especially in our community, to get our young people and the young Black folks of our community that supported health. So phenomenal job to be a part of us here tonight in space to know what you're trying to do to impact our young people. Anything we could do, I want to get behind and support you. I think this creative art thing, I'm at this new spot. At first I was a little bit radical. Okay. I have to admit it. I was kind of all these partying and all of this stuff. I was like, oh, we don't need no block party. We got too many parties, right? But it's a part of mental health healing that does happen, right?
Yeah.
And I think I'm more now pushing towards some of this, artistic stuff. Me, I was like, man, we got to educate our people. We got to get them financially secure. We got to get ownership. We still have to do that. But I think this pandemic has definitely put a mental strain on our community. And I really think, having these type of function, bike rides, arts, these block parties, is kind of bringing our people out. And that's why I want to give Erica Scott a huge shout out what she's doing at the African American Culture Center, because I'm starting to see a healing process with our people coming around, just being able to hug each other and just laugh and just kind of get out of this zone, like this zombie zone, as they say. But I think it's very powerful stuff, man. But great testimony and story tonight. And, like Nate said, I don't know you, but I'm going to get to know you now because you connected with East Oakland Collective, and we're going to be doing some stuff. So I want to connect with you, and I want to ride with y'all because I seen a couple of videos. I know it's a brother in Richmond. They've been, doing these big bike rides, and I've been trying to get in there. I told them someday I'm gonna get some support, so I ain't gotta put all my money into both sides of the conversation. I'm gonna go buy me a bike. But y'all out there can help me now because the world is watching. I take a used bike. I want to go ride with my young people. So y'all help me out there. I'm crying for help now. I don't never cry for help. I need a bike so I can ride out there because I'm tired of riding these skates. I done fell 3 or 4 times. I didn't let y'all see that. But I gotta get back on the bike for the community. But no, thank you for doing what you're doing, and just representing Oakland, coming on here. I get attacked a lot. They think this is just a San Francisco platform, and they y'all don't do nothing for nobody else. And we're slowly getting out there. I always tell people, there's a lot of things to do, but we're part of the Black folks, right? And one of the things that I heard you say, and I think that we have to also start pushing in our communities. We got to stop this where we from, right? We Black, we all dealing with the same struggle, whether you from Oakland, West Oakland, Deep East Oakland, North Oakland, San Francisco, Hunts Point, Fillmore. Like, we got to stop that. Our Black folks need help right now, and we need to bring people together because maybe it's something you doing in Oakland that I could bring to some kids in San Francisco, right? And that's why I want to get out of this, like, where people from, and just like, hey, you my brother, you my king. And that's why I do this King Supporting King movement, King Supporting Queens, because that's what it's all about. It's about our people. It's not about where you're from. You're dealing with the same inequities that I'm dealing with. You're having the same struggles that I'm dealing with. We're trying to build equity. We're trying to bring, our communities together. And it starts with organizations like you, and it starts with organizations like East Oakland Collective, Roots, different organizations coming together, working together. We got the Rebels in Oakland, Rebels in San Francisco. Like, how do we bring those organizations together collaboratively and impact our young people, have these real conversations when we have our youth, and start bringing them together so that they can stop killing each other and being mad at each other, start learning each other, right? And I'm trying to do that with my mentor program, teaching these young brothers. Just because you don't know who this person is, you ain't got to look at him crazy. You ain't got to have an attitude with him and think that he out to get you. Like, learn how to introduce yourself to somebody that you don't know. Like, you here tonight, we don't know you, but now we opening up dialogue, we having conversation, right? And I think that's why this is so important. And this platform brings people together, these intersections together to meet, right? And get that information out there. We got to know about it so we can be a part of it and support each other. And that's what I like to do here. I like to support all of the organizations that I can. I'm limited on funds. We running on E around here, but we just keep doing what we doing because we know the impact is real. And they always say, if it's what they say in the church, if it's God's will, it's God's bill. So I don't worry about it. I just charge it to God. He's gonna make it happen. And my ancestors, they don't mess around with me. Anytime I say something, they just come dropping out the sky and bless me every day. I'm putting it in the atmosphere. Somebody out there, John Henry, near both sides of the conversation bike. I know it's gonna pull up. Somebody gonna drop one off to me.
Hey, man, and I totally feel you on that because for the Halloween ride, I wanted to get some T-shirts, right? And I had a stranger jump in my DM and said, "Meet me at your shop because I want to give you something." So I'm used to people handing me, $50, $100, and the man handed me $1,000 and said, "Get whatever it is you need for these kids." Right? I already have people working on a goodies bag and goodie bags for the kids. But man, that death part you were talking about with the kids, man, two things the hood did to us. It detached us from our emotions, right? In which we have generations and generations raising generations on top of generations, in which we don't really take that serious. You know what I'm saying? We kind of dummy down or joke off a lot of stuff when folk are really expressing how they feel. You know, I remember when I first experienced heartbreak, man, everybody in the shop laughed at me because of how I used to roll. You know what I'm saying? But I was really hurt. Like, that pushed me further in the ground. So, and then the other part is we demonize therapy. Like, you're crazy if you decide to go to therapy. And therapy actually was the best thing that ever happened to me. To be able to sit down and be able to talk to somebody without having an opinion and helping me to smooth out all these scrambled eggs that was in my head.
Wait, you got to say that again. I want the people to hear that. See, this is powerful, because I'm always talking about this is why you here tonight is so important. I don't mean to cut you off, but I have to say this because I think sometimes we miss this, right? This is why I say Black males have to come on this platform and be vulnerable, so other Black males could be vulnerable, right? Because a lot of time, like you said, when there's heartbreak things happening, we don't know how to articulate, we don't know how to communicate, and sometimes we don't get the right information. Mental health therapy is something that we all need. You know, I just lost my mom. I go to grief counseling. I missed my grief counseling session last night because I just lost my mom. I don't know what happened, but again, you got to be able to go.
Your mom just passed?
Oh, yeah, my mom just passed a couple of weeks ago, but I've been going to this grief counseling therapy, man, and it's been really good, right? But last night, I had to go last night. I had so much going on that I forgot. But again, I'm just happy that you're here telling your story. And this is why this segment is so important to me, because I know there's somebody's going to be watching. There's some male in the community, female in the community that's going to hear this message, and it's going to impact them, man. And we as Black men in the community have to start opening up. We can't hold it in. The more we hold it in, we just do more damage to ourselves. So I love what you're saying. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I had to say this because I think Black males in America, period, we have to start being vulnerable about our emotions, what we feeling, when we not feeling good. And I mean, I just thank you for saying that. I don't mean to cut you off and be rude, but I just wanted to highlight that, brother. That's very powerful stuff.
But I thank you for sharing that your mom passed. And on another note, offline, I really want to connect with you. It's going on 16 years, man, and it still feel like it happened today for me. You know what I'm saying? And people always say, "Oh, you're gonna be all right." No, it gets easier. And again, that's a matter of the mind, where we have to figure out how to continue to maneuver and learn how to live through that, right? And you just can't take and tote that to any and everybody, especially, you know, when you're dealing with someone who parents is still here. You know what I'm saying? They really can't relate to the hurt you're feeling in that moment. And that's why, bro, I try to talk to each kid that I'm dealing with on a one-on-one basis, so I can develop this space with them, because I'm not a therapist, but I can be a safe place for you. And we live by this with our kids. This is our motto for the bike club, and is going to be for my art space. Be different, because being different makes the difference. I want to teach kids to be the best them they can be. Be different. And I'm gonna push up on somebody if you challenging one of my kids.
Right.
Like the old dogs that don't bother one of my kids. He come out one of my kids.
Man, you like in my head. That's my challenge to all my young kids when I go up to juvenile. And I'm gonna be back tomorrow. We've been out for a couple of months because of COVID. Yeah. So I'm happy that I'm gonna be back up there working with my kids in San Francisco Juvenile Hall, and I'm trying to get into Oakland Juvenile Hall to work with them. But I always tell them, dare to be different, because if you dare to be different, there's always an opportunity for you there, and that's real. Eagles fly with eagles, and 20 birds fly with 20 birds, and I want a bunch of eagles flying around me. So that's deep. Hey, but with that being said, man, thank you for coming on. Yes, let me bring up Dahlia and them before we go. We have a question of the night. I don't know if Brother Derek Tolliver, his computer is offline. You know, but every show, you know, we try to end with a question. Nate sometimes asks a question. Oh, there go DT. You know, I try to ask a question before we end each show. This is something that we always try to do, and sometimes we have guest stays, sometimes we don't. But since we all talking about young people tonight, the impact, and we understand the struggles that's happening in our community, when we talk about leadership, my question to you all is, how do we, as leaders of the community, really advocate for our young people? And I guess my real question is, there's people in our community sometimes that straddle the fence, meaning that they want to lead our young people, but then they want to do other things, outside of leading, right? We talk about, this big cannabis movement and different things of that nature. I just want to hear from you all, what do we say to those individuals? Because a lot of times there's a lot of people in our community that's on the fence. And I think sometimes our young people are not moving forward because of the respect that they've lost from some of our leaders in the community, whether it's in the spiritual realm, whether it's in the religion realm, whether it's a community leader, whether it's an organizational leader, whether it's a teacher, right? I talk to a lot of these young people and I ask them those questions, and I'm always like, why? Why you not, these people out here doing this, or this person, why you not connecting with them? And it's like, man, look what he's doing, right? Mm-hmm. So how do we put this message into our community? As leaders here, daring them doing stuff with the young people, you, me, how do we really, I don't even know how to put the question, but how do we make sure that as leaders, we're doing what we're doing and not straight on the fence so that we can impact our community?
Well, I'll start. I just go on and jump in, man. I'm almost invincible. I mean, like I'm visible all the time, right? So it helps me to stay conscious. I'm at funerals. I'm standing before 500 people. I'm assembling bike rides. I'm before 400 or 500 people. School supplies and all this stuff. I'm always before people, right? So it helped me to be conscious of the choices that I make. I understand I have the right to choose, right? But I'm learning as I'm becoming more responsible to choose right. I'm not going to say I'm not going to miss a mark, and I believe that's where a lot of leaders make mistakes, is when they present themselves to be flawless. I tell people all the time, please don't think because I'm the preacher, I got it all together. No, I don't. I'm learning this thing as I'm going. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a friendly reminder to self to stay on top of you. Like you want to stay on top of them, stay on top of you. And model that. Be you the leader need to be the example. Everybody can't just lead, delegate. Sometimes you got to get out there and you got to use your hands and your feet. You know what I'm saying? You got to get sweaty and dirty too. And that's just what I live by. I'm trying to learn every day to live by what I want these kids to see and what I want them to become.
Man, powerful stuff, and I always say that nobody's perfect. Anything can happen. I can make a mistake. But you try to do the right things consciously, but you're a preacher. So I got to get you back on here because I got some real conversations that I want to have with these preachers in the community. There's a lot of divisive preachers around here, right? I'm not saying you want to, but there's a lot of divisive preachers who are in leadership, who are dividing our community with their negative division talk and some of the things that they're doing. And I do want to ask you that one day because I want to find out, why is it so hard for our pastors to pass the torch to the young pastors and to the young folks of the community?
Oh, we're gonna talk.
So I'm gonna get you on here because we're gonna invite some of these pastors to come back on here. About a year ago, we did get about 4 or 5 pastors to come on there, and they did agree there's some problems. But I'm seeing an increase of divisiveness from the leaders in the religious realms in our communities, dividing our communities and spitting a lot of hate speech. Yeah. And but they really political driven in our community. And I want to really have a conversation about that because I want to hear from community. How do we really be about the community and separate some of the stuff in the church? Because we know sometimes in the church it gets a little controlling. And there's a lot of things that I don't like when we do things for the church. Nothing against religion, but I want to keep the community stuff community and can keep the religion stuff religion. But a lot of my issues is when we always hear there's privilege and membership. That's one of the things that I don't like about a lot of these leaders when they talk about privilege and leadership and membership. I just don't like it. And,
I want to say this to you. There should never be a separation between the two. They should be one. Because everything Jesus ever did was in the community. But we'll talk about that on another day.
All right, I'm gonna invite you for sure. We're gonna have that conversation.
Yes, sir.
Derek, you want to take it first?
Oh, I'm gonna let you go because I missed what we were supposed to be talking on.
John, you want to give him
computer went dead. I'm sorry.
We're talking about our leaders and our people in the community who are working with our young people who straddle the fence. You know, they halfway still out there doing the wrong thing, halfway doing the right thing. How do we get those folks to understand the importance of leadership and what side of the fence they have to be on when they're trying to lead our young people?
Yeah, I think I got the gist of it. You know, there's only one answer. You can only be one person, because whoever that person is, those young people will see it clearly. So if you're a hypocrite and you talking loud and saying nothing, they're gonna see that. They're gonna see it. They're gonna see that joint in the back of your pocket. They're gonna put underneath your car seat. They're gonna see that bulge in your pocket. You know, if you got carrying a weapon. You know, all the things that you're telling them to do, they're gonna see it. And it's the same thing with clergy. If the clergy they're leading a life of infidelity, and they're trying to tell the young people about how important it is to be responsible, be accountable, be this, be that, and they see that, you know, you're not practicing what you preach, and that's an issue. So I think one of the biggest things that we have to do as examples is admit that we're vulnerable. See, that's one of the problems I have with leaders. They don't want to admit they made mistakes. They don't admit, you know, and it happens a lot where people want to be that perfect image.
Uh-oh, we lost DT. And yeah, I don't want to be the perfect image. I'm the angry John Henry. Y'all know I'm angry over here, but
no, please don't get him started. Please don't get him started.
I'm not perfect at all, community. I'm gonna tell you now, I ain't perfect. I love my people, and I'm gonna do the best I can to make sure that they have everything that they have. But Dahlia, you want to go ahead and jump in there and we try to get Derek back?
You know, I think it's easier when you've lived your life in the community. I worked for many years at Paradise Baptist Church, and when I got pregnant out of wedlock, and when I was homeless, you know, they gave me that foundation. And you know, I didn't have any food. They gave me food. They gave me shelter. They gave me job training. Someone asked me, actually, one of my son's ex-girlfriend was like, who can I go to at that church to give me support? And I was like, it's called building a relationship. It's not about who you can call and say, I need this, I need that. But it's building a relationship. And so I've been in and out of Lakeview for many, many years. And the community collaborative, OMI Community Collaborative, we started 12, maybe even 15 years ago. So for us to like be highlighted at this point it's bittersweet, because we've been here. We've been yelling and screaming and hollering, saying that we needed support and resources. But now it's, you know, it's almost trendy to the point because of the Dreamkeeper money, but it's really bittersweet. It's bittersweet, and us living our lives. It's not just me. It's Felicia and it's Renard and Maurice and Mary Evelyn and Goodry. It's a whole. It's all of us. But if you come after one of us, all of us are gonna rise up. So it's being together and people seeing that we ride strong. And if there's a ought between one of us, we can say to each other's faces, hey, I got a problem with you. You did this, or you said this a certain way, and we just need to discuss this. And then coming together and eating together. We started in COVID. having dinner with each other, even in COVID, having a drink, saying, "Hey, what's up? Let's shoot it." It's the reverse option of Drink Champs, on YouTube. But just being able to have those community conversations, and then the supervisor come through and be like, "Okay, this is what's going to happen. You're not going to like it. Delia, make nice." But and just having those, being able to like have those conversations, and then like we had some incident where we had put the Invest Black, painted that on the ground. Then the city comes through and tries to power wash it. They sending them messages on Facebook, and I'm like, I call the supervisor, like, it's going down. You better go stop them, or it's gonna be some problem. But being able to pick up the phone and call somebody and say, "Hey, what do you need? What can we do for you?" It's communication. It's been here all along. But if people in the community can see that you have no double standard, you can't vote against something and then secretly own equity in something that everybody's against. It doesn't work, and it's all going to come out in the light.
Right.
Y'all see the community. They know me. They said, "Don't get John started." You see my community. They know. I promise you, I'm not going there.
I gotta just add, John, because I gotta go. But I gotta get it out there. Delia's right, and it's and I'm with you, John. At some point, some of these communities are all about beating a dead horse, so to speak, and not passing it on to some new blood. And and it's cool. I'm not, personally me, I'm not looking for anything, but I'm looking to help. A lot of people got that smile in your face agenda, but behind your back they got another agenda.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where and I've told Derek and them, and John, this, that's why I only work with a selective amount of people, because the trust is not there. And and it's sad, but it's definitely true. And once we get rid of, there's got to be some kind of timeline where we get the pass. You got to pass the torch, man. That's it. It's over with. It's over with. You done had 30 years doing this, 20 years doing this, and ain't turned over a rock yet. But you're still getting 8 million a year. You know what I'm saying? At some point, hey man, don't get me. See, that's okay, John, but y'all get my point. I'm not gonna get started on this.
All right, Nate. I know
we gotta come together.
I know you gotta go, Nate. Thank you.
All right.
For sharing and being here tonight. We always appreciate you, and we support you, brother. But yeah, Derek, you kind of broke up. You want to go ahead and get those last points out, because I know you was there, or did he freeze up again? I think Derek froze up again.
Hey.
But I think Nate is right. We got to work together. Oh, there you go. You back, D. Go ahead.
Yeah. I just heard the last bit when Nate was mentioning about passing the torch. And I know you all were talking about credibility and the whole nine. And again, as I started off earlier about how important it is for us to be our authentic selves. And then at the same time, show the vulnerable, show that we're vulnerable, that we have made mistakes. But guess what? There's light at the end of the tunnel. See, that's what they want to know. You got some resilience built into you, and you've been through something, and that's what they want to be able to see. You're not fronting, you're not faking it. I tell people things like this. I say, hey, you know what? I've been to jail. People look at me like, what? You been to jail? And I have to tell them the story, but it's like, if you're afraid to broach or breach those kind of conversations, how do you expect a child or youth, a young person,
they're going to see it. They're going
to have confidence in you? You know what I'm saying? That they can tell you something that's sensitive. You don't want to tell them anything, but yet you want them to confide in you. And that's the whole operative term, confidence. How can they have confidence that they can trust you? You right? If you don't trust them, because they'll feel it. You know, they say, "Hey, that person ain't for real."
And you're 100% right, DT. I think that's what's going on with the parenting in our community. Too many times the community parents don't talk about their testimonies and playing like they're holier than thou. And these kids are like, well, what about you? And what about the stuff you doing? So I think that's a great point. I think that's a great point, DT. But Truckee, did you want to say something? I see you come off the mic there.
I just wanted to say I'm looking forward to that conversation, because I want to say to you, I've been in ministry 15 years, right? I've never been compensated for nothing. I've always done ministry for free. And it's for a reason. Especially with the stigma that come with it, with being a Black preacher, right? Like, everybody think there's always some money involved and some money included, but I've never received anything. I look forward to having conversations with people, because coming from the street, I get to see both, right? I don't see no leader to be different when you do wrong by people when they put their lives in your hands. The community leader and the church leader, if you don't do right by people and these people trust in you with their life, you're equally wrong. And that's just how I really feel. I now that I'm really stepping into this realm, I serve as our community block grant chairperson in District 3 in my city, right? Bro, the stuff that I see in my city when people talk about what they're doing and I just drive by, like, and they're not spiritual folk. They're people just saying they doing stuff for people. So we have to move to holding every single person who say they trying to help people accountable. Mm-hmm. We can't create tiers. We have to learn to look down the line at folk. You know what I'm saying? Even the people who put themselves up high, pull them down. Hey, come here, come down. You know what I'm saying? And folk think because I am preacher pastor that I just agree with everything that's in the church. No, I have some issues just like everybody else, because I'm for people. That's why I'm outside, John.
Man, hey, that's very powerful. That's very powerful. I'm glad you said that. That's one of the biggest things that I'm going to keep advocating and saying here. Black folks, we got to stop being silent. We enable this behavior. I keep telling people, people, they see these people, community leaders, and everybody got something to say about them, but they don't say nothing to them. I'm like, we got to stop that. We're enabling this behavior. Somebody has to pull that preacher. Somebody has to pull that community leader. Somebody has to pull that mentor and say, listen, brother, this is not good. Like, we got to do it. We speak up about everything else when we're getting done wrong by other cultures, other things. But when it comes to our own Black folks, we got a problem with speaking up and holding our people accountable. That's what we're going to continue to do here. We're going to hold them accountable. We don't care who they are. We're going to ask them the tough questions and have a difficult conversation, because that's what we need in our community. We got to have it. We can't just keep saying, like, I get tired. All I hear is about, well, they doing this for the Asian community. They doing this for the Black kids. Okay, well, what is we doing?
And talk.
We sit here. We can't work with each other. We can't even help each other. But we over here talking about what they doing. But they working together, though. So
we're going to get Gary on them.
Right. It starts with us. It starts with us. I'm going to go ahead and end it there. It's getting late. I appreciate you all hanging on. Delia came in here rocking with her hair all like, just OMI is just doing a whole lot of. I got to get over to OMI. I got to get some of that sauce over there, because it's getting a little hot over there. OMI. I got to get some of that energy over there. But no, definitely we gonna wrap this up. You can hold on to the end, Truckee. I definitely want to talk to you offline. I just want to go ahead and end the segment because I know people are watching. But Delia, there go some people in the community that just they're gonna bring their kids out to the fair, so that's cool. And this is what this is all about. You guys coming here and announcing it, and I'm just glad to see some of the community folks are talking about they're going to show up with their kids to this event. Very powerful event, community. Get out there. Let our young people get the experience and access to some of this stuff that sometimes, like Derek Tolliver said, we don't get this in our community. And we want to start building up this next generation of STEM folks, engineering, and some of this technology, because we're going to need it as we're moving out of this paper currency and coin currency, and we're going to different currencies, and everything is going online. We have to have a competent group of generation of folks that can help move our elders and our young people in a way that's going to be safe, understanding how this stuff works. It's going to be a challenge, but what Derek Tolliver and what Dahlia is doing is going to help make sure that our young babies, you heard him say 5 and up, is going to be impacted, and that's what we want to do. Train those minds young when they're able to have that focus and that brain that's still growing. Make sure they get the right information in. So thank you all for what you're doing. Truckee, you hang on. We'll talk in a minute. But community, thank you for tuning in tonight. This was our Hidden Gem segment. Powerful, powerful segment. Now y'all see why these hidden gems we said were certain pillars of the community, heavy hitters, going to bat for community, making sure that our young people are impacted with the right information. Phenomenal conversation with them. If you missed the beginning, go back and listen to Miss Dahlia and Derek Tolliver break down what they're doing in this STEM frenzy. We're going to put their information up on the screen. Check them out. Go look at what they're doing. This STEM frenzy thing, I'm excited about it. I want to see what it all turns out to be, because I know Derek Tolliver is pushing some powerful stuff, connecting with our United States military and making sure that we get the right stuff. So this is going to be phenomenal stuff for our community. With that being said, this Thursday, everybody tune in for our next live segment this Thursday at 6 p.m. We're going to have San Francisco Police Officer Dudley come on and educate our community about some of the equity and some of the things that's going on in the Black community. So this should be a powerful presentation as we continue to try to heal and bridge this gap with law enforcement and community. At some point, like I said, community, we're going to have that conversation. We can't sit here and say we don't want to work and connect. But again, we have to bring these intersections together and figure out how we could bridge this gap to move our communities forward with our community of law enforcement. So again, looking forward to that presentation this Thursday. And then this Sunday, we're going to have our Black Panther legacy keepers come on and celebrate their 55th anniversary. And they're going to be talking about some of the things that's happened over the years with the Black Panther Party, some of the changes that's happened, some of the things that they're doing right now to kind of event what's going on and bring it back to our community with the food services, with some of the medical services, and how to get our community organized and start working together. We need this right now. The Black and brown community are suffering. Okay, we are in a crisis, not just with this pandemic. When you talk about housing, health, food, it's a lot of issues that are impacting our community. And we talk about early childhood, that's being impacted as well. We want to make sure that all of these programs and all of these folks are able to support our community because we need it. So we're looking forward to that Sunday conversation, and we'll be out in the community throughout the weekend, and we'll be posting where we at on Thursday. We'll definitely be at the Roots Theater checking out that performance for Brother Rodney and them, and we'll be bringing them on to talk about some more stuff that they're going to be doing. So we're excited. Both sides of the conversation. We're going to stay in the community, continue to bless the people. Thanks to the East Oakland Collective. Thanks to Collective Impact, YCD, and my brother Corey Monroe for blessing that family, coming together, Feline Dance Group, stepping up as community. You heard the brother said earlier, we can't wait on the government. We can't wait on our elected officials to impact the community. It's going to take the community folks to come together. All them little ends coming together, all the little support coming together to bless this family that's in need right now. And there's many other families that's in need. Again, we cannot have our young folks sleeping on the streets. We got to do something collectively as a community. If it doesn't touch your heart, something has to open up and waking up our communities. We cannot have our babies sleeping on the street. So I'm looking forward to work with any organization to help raise things for those folks until we can find a better solution. We're going to be working with East Oakland Collective and a number of other organizations to try to get blankets, to try to get coats, to try to get toys for these young people as they being impacted on these streets. We are going into our winter season here in the Bay Area. The temperatures are going to get cold. So all the support that we could get for those people in need is going to be very important in these next upcoming months. And we're going to be a part of it. And then finally, I'm looking for somebody to get me a bike so I can get me a both sides of the conversation bike so I can get out there. So if you feeling like you a donor and you feel like you got something good in your spirit and you want to make John Henry happy, give me a bike so I can go ride with these brothers and our young people. I want to ride with the young brothers. Thank you all for tuning in. Continue to support us as we will continue to support our community. You can definitely donate to both sides of the conversation. If you're looking for a tax write-off, you can help us. We are a nonprofit. We are still trying to build capacity here. There's a lot of things that we need. We still need volunteers. If that's you want to support the movement of the people, both sides of the conversation, we will be moving people forward. We will work collaboratively. We will work with our other organizations, and we're going to move all the organizations that don't want to work with us. We'll get them out the way, and we'll get the folks that want to work together. So thank you all for tuning in tonight for our Hidden Gem segment. We'll see you all this Thursday. Love y'all. Be safe out there.